y'all. My name is Camille Smith. I'm a chemical engineer, social entrepreneur, and content creator based here in Philly, and I'm here at the Winners Culture, and this is a story that defines me. I would not be a chemical engineer if it was not for my dad. In 8th grade, I was in academic science. I was in public school all throughout my schooling, and I really, really wanted to be in honor science because 9th grade would have really started my science career, once I actually was able to transition from middle school to high school. And usually in my, district, your teacher actually had to recommend you for things, but your parent did have the authority to overwrite, a certain recommendation. So in 7th grade, I went to my dad and I asked him to overwrite me to honors science in 8th grade. And after, some pleading, he decided that he was going to take a chance on me. He overwrote my teacher's recommendation to put me into academic science in 8th grade and put me in honors. I absolutely fell in love with science my 8th grade year. That was the year that I had we learned about earth sciences. It was clouds, cumulus clouds, nebulous clouds, all that type stuff. But I fell in love with science. And that really just set me up and put me on a trajectory to be in all honors, eventually take AP classes or advanced placement classes. And wholeheartedly, I don't think that I would have even thought to major in anything STEM related, let alone chemical engineering in undergrad, had he not taken the chance on me, that early on. So very much shout out to him, and I'm very excited to be here at the Winners Culture.
Voice of the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners culture, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners culture, yeah. We winners culture. It's all said and done.
What's going on, y'all? And welcome to the Winners Culture, the podcast where we explore the journey of creators and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, It's Just JJ, and to my right.
Hey, y'all, it's Bondi.
And today we have a special guest. So I met this wonderful guest at Rec Philly, and to be honest, I thought she was a regular person. And then I seen her Instagram, and I seen her traveling the world doing something called STEM Social. And then I found out that she's actually an extraordinary scientist as well as entrepreneur. So today we have Camille Smith. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for the introduction.
You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here.
That's
Thank
good.
you for being here.
How was y'all days today? How y'all feeling?
Pretty good.
I had a good day. I had a great day.
What happened? Y'all not giving no details. The people love details.
Well, okay, so my day was, it was a routine day, but a couple twists and turns, nothing bad, just honestly, me running my mouth with my aunts and my cousins. Me and my cousin, we walk our dogs together every morning. We have a trail that we do. When I stopped over there, my aunt was still home. She didn't leave for work yet, so we just gossiping, getting the grown folks business. Right. Now that we at the grown folks table, so right. And I just kind of caught up with my family, got ready for today, came here. It's my normal Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to work. I had a bunch of meetings all day. I traveled this past weekend, so I was just trying to get back into the swing of things. Went home, did some stuff for STEM Social, and then I came here.
Okay, so what do you do? Tell the people what you do, your job, your 9 to 5. What is
the 9 to 5? So yeah. I studied chemical engineering. I work as a scientist now. So I work at a pharmaceutical company. I make medications. It's very nerdy, very dorky. White lab coat, the goggles, all that good stuff.
Wow. So you make the medications?
Yeah, so to explain to people that don't necessarily know the breakdown of pharmaceuticals, you'll have small molecule, which is pills. So that's an Advil, that's a Tylenol, a tablet, if you will. I work in large molecule, so that's inhalers. Okay. That's it could be vaccines. I personally don't work on vaccines, but it's basically using living things or cells, which of course what they're called, to create antibodies to then be turned into medications. It was that was a lot.
No, we needed that. That's what we needed.
It's dorky, it's fun, it's cute, it's quirky.
Yeah. When in undergrad, I studied kinesiology.
Cool.
So I don't know what you know, but I know something.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Kinesiology is cool.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I learned about the body, so we had to take chemistry too,
Word.
and we had to take like
Anatomy,
yeah,
potentially? Yeah.
we had to take
Very cool.
anatomy, had to take nutrition,
Very
which
cool.
probably got something to do with how you blend
Yeah.
things together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the other part of what you just said, right?
Right.
So a lot of people don't know, but I'm allergic to medicine. I'm allergic to
Like all of them?
acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen.
That one right there.
Tylenol.
I'm allergic to Tylenol
Word.
and Advil
Wow.
and aspirin
Wow.
and ibuprofen
Whoa.
and Motrin
Whoa.
and
Every over-the-counter medication
Percocet.
ever. Whoa.
yeah.
Okay.
This is a true fact.
That's interesting. Wait, so what's like your reaction to it?
You ever seen Hitch?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy.
It gets deep. You feel what I'm saying? This used to happen to me a lot when I was in grade school.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what was causing. I used to be a
Right.
football player.
Right. And
And
they
s-
would tell you to take acetaminophen.
And so I pop a pill, and then I end up with a tennis ball on my eye socket. This is a true story. My sister compared it to a mango. She laughing. Yo, she crazy.
No, because honestly, for a long time, I didn't believe him. I really thought that he was lying. I just did not believe him. I didn't believe that.
Well,
you
you
were
are
allergic.
really unique though, because I feel like acetaminophen, like most people obviously can take because it's over the counter.
Yeah.
Like so, like the FDA will have like certain medications that they they have to be prescribed versus again you can just like go to the store and get them.
Yeah.
So like you're very unique in that like your immune response is
Drastic.
a mango.
Yeah, it gets deep.
Wow.
And so yeah, I had to this is about to be the end part of this story then. but I went to I had to go to the allergy doctor.
Yeah,
And,
allergist.
yeah, I had to go to the allergy doctor, and they said the only way that we can find out what you're allergic to is if we
Is to
give
give it to
Yeah,
you.
is to give it to you. And so they gave me, I want to say Motrin or Advil.
Did you do a skin test?
I did a
though?
skin test.
Word.
20 pricks. I got
Yeah.
20 pricks. That's how I know I could get this tat, because I took 20 pricks to the arm. I reacted to cats and I reacted to dust,
Word.
but it wasn't strong reactions. Like
Right.
it wasn't what was doing it to my face. And then then they gave me the pills.
Yeah.
And they was like, I didn't react within the time.
Right.
But they're like, you can go home. And on the way home, I blew up. I said, wow. So, but that solved everything. So now I know, like,
That's so.
So
can't-
not dogs, right?
no, dogs didn't react
The
for me.
main takeaway.
But
Oh,
now,
exactly.
like,
Exactly.
He
I-
can't
I-
have a dog.
I
So
know-
so I feel like hypothetically, a hypoallergenic dog especially
Right.
wouldn't irritate someone like
Right.
you based
Right,
on the
real.
tests,
Real.
right?
at this point in life, I know myself. You see
Word.
what I'm saying? So it's like when I get that itch, I know what it is. You
Word.
feel what I'm
Well, so
saying?
do you have an EpiPen or no? I mean,
So crazy part is they gave me an EpiPen.
word.
And they gave me 2 actually,
Okay.
because they said when you have a allergic reaction that's that size,
Yeah.
you're at risk for anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
You see, I know something.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So they gave me 2 EpiPens. I
Yeah.
lost them, and when I went to go get them again, it was like
They're
$1,000
really
a piece.
expensive.
So I said we're gonna leave those where they're at, and we're gonna pray. You say every morning and every night. And that's what I've been on, faith. I've been living on faith
I will be bringing Koisha next week.
ever since. And you hear she's trying to kill me. So if I do die or I go to the hospital, y'all know who did it.
Wow.
So the backstory with me being sarcastic over here is I have a dog.
Okay.
She's hypoallergenic. She's a red mini poodle. He
Oh, cute.
is convinced that he's allergic to her, but you just
Nah,
heard
you
him
wouldn't.
say
You wouldn't
exactly.
be. 'Cause
Exactly.
I'm allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, and sesame seeds. So I also have an EpiPen. Also would go into anaphylaxis. And I'm also
You have
very,
an EpiPen? Like it
yeah,
gets
I
that
don't have
deep?
it on me right
Okay.
now, but yeah, I do have an EpiPen.
Okay.
I have the big 3. I have allergies. I have asthma, and then I also have eczema too.
Eczema.
Mm-hmm.
Eczema is in the big, that can kill you?
Well, no, not kill you, but like it's basically all 3 are basically your immune system is like hyperactive for like no reason.
That's what they told me.
Yeah.
They told me I had a strong immune system, so I
Yeah.
don't really get sick.
Right.
But I do have strong.
Yeah, like allergies to
Yeah.
like random stuff that you feel like you
Yeah.
shouldn't be. It's just your body trying to protect you from stuff.
Wow. So what do you do for the asthma? You can make your
I have
own
a inhaler.
pump.
But that's what
I've
I'm
never
saying.
met a person
So,
that
okay.
can make their own pump.
So
yo.
that's the cool full circle thing, because when I was younger, I was the person that had to go to the pharmacy all the time to get I have my inhaler with me. Like I have very bad asthma. It's very bad. But now like I like work in a lab that I'm like creating like the next generation of, inhalers, which like for me is very cool because like I could potentially eventually like use it, you know? So
Okay.
we'll see if it gets there. I don't know.
Okay, so that was a fire
Side quest.
So that was a fire introduction, right? So now we're gonna get into the actual part, right?
Okay.
The actual part where we ask you questions to try to get some information from a genius.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Genius.
So tell us about your upbringing. Like where did you grow up? How did you grow up? What inspired you to be a scientist?
Word. Okay, so I grew up in Bucks County, so outside of Philly, like an hour or so. I think Bucks County is a great place to be from. I would never live there ever in my life.
But you lived there.
But I did live there. I grew up there. So for my family, I grew up with my family, mom, dad. I have 2 older sisters, but my older sister, you know, I grew up with my oldest sister, is much older than me. She's technically my half sister, but like that's my girl. So like, you know, whatever. But yeah, grew up in Bucks County. K through 12 was always super nerdy, but I will say up until middle school, I was like super good at like school in general, but terrible at science, which I always find funny because like I was just like so bad at it. And then 8th grade, I don't know if like I went to public school, but like we had like an entry level like, academic accelerated honors. 7th grade, I was in academic science. I wanted to be in honors science because 8th grade to 9th grade was like a very pivotal time in like our public school system that like if you didn't go in to 9th grade, which is our high school, in honors, like you basically were going to be on like the academic track, you know, for the rest of high school. So I basically begged my dad to put me in honors science because parents can like overwrite you into like a upper class, if you will. He did well. Then high school was like in honors bio, honors chemistry. So bad at chemistry. So bad at chemistry. I literally was failing. Like I was failing all year and I was trying. That's my thing. I was like, again, a high school person, but it's very cringy to like say now. But never understood chemistry until, if anyone knows what polyatomic ions is.
Anybody for polyatomic ions?
Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
Anyway, that lesson in particular, it really clicked. And then I was like, oh, like this is cool. So then took honors chemistry, took honors physics. Took AP, which is advanced placement classes. So I took like bio, psych, chemistry, physics. Like I was like just super nerdy. After I understood chem, like it just like set something off in my head. Now the only reason I studied chemical engineering in college, so I went to Villanova to fast forward. My AP chemistry teacher, unprovoked, told me that I wasn't smart enough to be a chemical engineer. Now to give y'all backstory, I was the only black girl in my class. So like it was just me, right? Kicking it, chilling. I was like really cool with the administration because I wasn't really, not that I didn't have friends in high school, like I did, but like it was very clear that I was like the only black girl in like the class. And my class was like 435 people. I know that because I was the president of my class as well. So like that was like a weird dissonance or dichotomy.
This is high school or college?
This is high school.
Okay.
So senior year, second semester, or second half of the year, so like third, fourth marking period, my teacher unprovoked is like, look, you're not smart enough to be a chemical engineer. Like, I think you should pick something else. Mind you, I had an A in the class. I'm like, hello? Why did you say that? So I eventually applied to one school, Villanova, as a chemical engineer. I applied to I think 7 other schools as a chemistry major, got into Villanova, financial aid package looked real nice. Went to Villanova, studied chemical engineering. It was hard. We could talk about that. And then I started working as a scientist, and now I actually went back after graduation, even though I graduated in 2020. I went back to my high school and told my AP Chem teacher that I was a chemical engineer. No, for sure. No, for sure. She said, I knew that you don't do that. Do not do that.
That's the whole story when the rapper say my teacher told me I wasn't going to be nothing.
No, literally.
No, I'm pulling up and I'm going to say, remember when you said, right.
Blind, do you ever had that situation where a teacher told you?
No.
Or a counselor?
Or a counselor? Any person older than you told you couldn't be nothing?
No.
No? You're lucky.
Because I've always been that one.
No,
wow.
I'm sorry.
So everybody always believed in you?
Yes.
Wow.
That's such a blessing. That's such a blessing. I'm happy you had that.
Tough. Damn. All right, so I got to tell my story real quick. Like, I gotta tell it real quick. So when I was, I went to high school, right? I went to 2 high schools when I was in high school, right? Okay. My first high school was a white high school. It was called Monsignor Bonner, right? Okay. And it was like same like your story. I was in all honors classes when I came from grade school. Right. But the way that it worked in my in the system was that your teacher had to place you in the honors class. Right. And my teacher who was a white lady named Miss McKenna. Shout out to Miss McKenna. I mean, rest in peace, Miss McKenna. She put me in honors class.
Cool.
And so I was in honors class for my first year, in all, like, across the board, right? But the things that I was really into was English and history.
Okay.
And so my sophomore year, I asked my teacher, he was a white male teacher. I asked him, could I be in AP English? And the only way you stay in honors English is if you pass with a certain grade.
Word.
Because they cut the class in half as you move up.
That's annoying.
That's crazy, right? So I asked if I could go.
Why did why did they do that?
That's what I'm saying. They started out with 60. Then if you go to sophomore year, it's 30. Then if you go to AP, it's 15. Like that, or whatever, like that. So I asked to go to AP English my junior year. And he said, what make you think you smart enough to do that? Right? And then this in front of the class, though. This in front of the, like, this.
That's my thing. Unprovoked.
You feel what I'm saying? I didn't. We could have talked about this in private. You
this after class.
You feel what I'm saying? You could have said that later. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So we was reading some book, and it was we was reading some whatever book, and he like, tell me what the word vernacular mean. I'm always gonna remember this, the exact word and exact, like, the whole thing. He like, tell me what the word vernacular means, and I didn't know. I really didn't know. I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
He started laughing. Went to the teacher on the next hall. Like, we in my class, right in front of the class. He go to the teacher in the other hall. He's talking about, you know, this kid, he tried to be an AP. He don't even know what the word vernacular mean. Other teacher look uncomfortable. He like, man, this kind of
like,
weird.
Isn't that literally your job to teach you what vernacular means?
The other teacher look uncomfortable. Like, this kind of weird.
You thought you ate, huh?
I'm embarrassed. My whole class white people, of course. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? My whole class white people. I wasn't even embarrassed. Like, I started embarrassed, and then my anger started creeping up. So now by the end, I'm mad. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? You feel what I'm saying? I can't be an AP. It was no grounds for that. Like you said, like how you had an A, I had an A. Like, I made the last cut. Why can't I make the next cut?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So, long story short, I left that school because the next English teacher I got, I had to get moved out of that class, whatever. I got another English teacher. Okay. I wrote a paper. Okay. I was mad. You see what I'm saying? I was mad because the last English teacher said I couldn't make it in AP, so I was in honors again, not AP.
Right.
And I wrote my ass off. I wrote my ass off, and the teacher called me after. At least he did it right this time. Right. But he called me after class. He like, I know you didn't write this. Like, another white man. He like, I know you didn't write this. I'm gonna give you a chance to do it again.
Why do you think you didn't write it?
It was too good. He said, I know you didn't write this.
Don't piss me off.
And so at this time I was fed up. I was fed up. So I snapped on him bad. Like, I was trying to be on my best behavior because I was in a white school and all that. I was trying to act good. That was my last day at that school. And then in college I ended up, so you know how you get the AP credits, you don't got to take the class in college. Yeah. I ended up testing out of high school, so I didn't have to take the class in college, just like I told him I would. Right. You feel what I'm saying? And I was the first in my college history to be a black man that worked in the Writing Center for all 5 years, and the school selected me from the first year and the first black man to present from Bloomsburg at the National Writing Conference. You feel what I'm saying? I had to pop it because of you. I was going to say your name, but I'm going to spare you. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying?
Good for you.
Yeah. So your story reminded me of that.
Yeah. So
back to college, right? Can you tell us what it's like to study biochemical engineering in college?
Yeah. So went to Villanova.
Right.
So I was my major was chemical engineering. My minor was actually biochemical engineering. Okay. I was also on a pre-med track.
That's two different things.
Two different things. A little bit. So chemical engineering is more like how systems work. Biochemical engineering is like how biosystems work. So it's just more like niche, I guess. My whole plan going into Villanova was actually to go to med school. So I was also on a pre-med track too. So I was like taking all my electives and stuff. I was taking like the biogenetics, Orgo 2. And then I also had an ethics minor. I love my ethics minor. Chemical engineering was interesting. It was like the first time that I referenced in high school, like I was like a high school person. So like I never really had too much trouble like learning things. Like I knew that even if I didn't get something initially, like if I studied like hard enough and like I, you know, really, I'll say applied myself, like I could eventually get it. Even with chemistry, like I was after school every single day. Like my work ethic was like super good, and that's something I still pride myself on now. But Camille was like, those concepts weren't like, you couldn't just logic your way through them. Like they weren't like,
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. So it was, that part was already hard. I was one of 4 black students, one of 2 black women in the chemie, you know, department, and all of my professors were like older white men.
In the whole department?
Yes.
Wow.
We're like older white men. And to provide context, again, one of my mentors is a white man. You know, shout out him. You feel me? So it's not like like every, you know, white person or older white person that you like come across is like bad by any means. That's definitely not the case. However, those specific professors, to give you an example, one of my professors would talk about like his college days, like like I like loved like when I was in college, like da 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 da. Over the course of the semester, I realized that he literally went to college when only white men were allowed to go to college.
What?
I said, he talking about the good old days. I'm like, I literally couldn't go to school when you.
So out of touch.
Okay, cool. So that was like what we were dealing with on like a regular basis. So like, I would do well on an exam, and maybe my one like other black friend didn't do well on an exam, and they'd be like, well, Camille did well. Like, why didn't you?
What?
Hello? Maybe it'd be better at your job. I don't know. Personally, maybe look at yourself. Right. So it was hard. There was like a lot of chemie in general is always going to be difficult, but I think there was like an added layer on top of that because my curriculum in particular was not made for me to succeed, and they showed that to me every single day. So there were definitely times, I think honestly, specifically one of my best friends, Aaron, if he was in the major with me, I think I would have dropped it my sophomore year, like wholeheartedly. There was no. And he literally guilt tripped me. He was like, yo, you're literally going to leave me in here by myself? And I said, yeah. Yep. The ad drop period ends on Friday.
That's like a theme with PWIs though. Like certain majors literally just feel like you feel unwelcome and unwanted, and they just make it so hard for us, right? You know. And
again, STEM in general, like it's already made to kind of weed people out, like that by form, like how they like set up the classes. So that in general already makes it hard. And then on top of that, you're also gonna also make me feel crazy for even being like, like you don't like me. Because it's all like microaggressions. It's not like, there only were a few instances that were like very blatantly like.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, say it again. You know what I'm saying? Now I have the recording device. Like say it one more time. So like also on top of that, I'm feeling crazy because I'm like, dang, like, is this crazy? Like, is this like, am I being too sensitive? And mind you, again, I grew up where I grew up. Right. So I went to Nova like, oh, like there's actually like more black people here. Like, what's up? Like, this is dope. I go to my classes and I'm like, oh, actually, it's getting real scary. It's getting real scary. Spooky here.
So how did you end up, like, how did you, I guess, find your tribe or find your resources or find the thing you found? Because I was a science major too, like I was telling you in college, and I think it was only 10 of us. I was in kinesiology. I think it was only 10 of us in the dorm, but we was tight. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? What was it like? What was your scenario?
I think the one safe haven of my curriculum is there was a lot of group projects, and the other kids didn't necessarily even want to be in my group. So, like, naturally, like, again, there was 4 of us. Like, we were naturally going to have to be in a group together because nobody else really wanted to be in our group. It's funny, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, sophomore year.
It was that obvious, though?
Yeah, yes.
Like, y'all don't want to.
Yes. No, it was very clear. It was very clear. And it's funny, though, because so freshman year, you have, you know, a bunch of people that want to be in the major. Like, people come to freshman year, like, oh, like, I'm about to be a chemie, like, da-da-da. You go home during Thanksgiving, they're like, yeah, I'm a chemical engineering major, whatever. We haven't really taken no tests yet. You feel me? So after, like, second semester, like, that's when, like, everybody drops out and does something else because they're like, oh, like, this major is hard, you know? So, like, by second semester, there's maybe, like, 60 of us. We might have started with, like, 250, 300 kids. All those people left, did something else, which honestly I get. You feel me? So yeah, it was really obvious. There was only 60 people. Of those 60 people, it was the 4 black kids. Again, there was one other black girl. Shout out Maya. And And if we had group projects, like we just kind of gravitated towards like each other. Now over time, because there's so few students, people know whose work ethic is good. Like you know who's doing well in the major or not. Like you can tell either like the professors, which they shouldn't be telling people's grades and stuff, or this is what the curve is, and you can tell by when people get their test back, they're smiling or they're sad. You know what I'm saying? So people like the flip it over real quick. You know what I'm saying?
That cry on the quad is real.
No, for real. For real. So over time, people are starting to pick up. They're like, okay, we're the floor back kids. Like, of course, this is hard, but like, we're doing well in the major. Like, we're still in here. You feel me? So it's funny, like, second semester, junior year into senior year, like, those same white kids that were not paying me no mind were trying to get me to be in their group. I'm like, no, like, it's okay. Or, Camille, you did the homework? No, what do you mean? The whole time I did the homework like 2 days ago. Like, no, I have to do it tonight. I have to do it tonight. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But again, that's like the small wins that like you're able to kind of experience throughout like all the hardship.
Gatekeeping.
Listen.
Yeah.
One thing about me now, mind you, if Maya or Aaron or AY, like they come up to me, I didn't do the homework.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
and I'll sit. And the thing is about us too is we were able to like sit together and actually like explain it. Because one thing about engineering or science in general, in college you're always going to end up having to like, someone's going to have to like give you the answers or like help you with the homework, fine. But like you will fail the major if you don't actually be doing your homework. That is literally your only time to actually practice. So with us, like as a group, my one friend Maya, she was on the volleyball team and she was a chemical engineer. That was insane. And even to this day, I'll be like, bro, how did you do that? So she would be traveling on the road, come to the library at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. at night, trying to study, but she couldn't stay up late because then she had to be up, for practice at 6. So if she wanted the answers, we were gonna sit there and I was gonna explain to her how I got to those answers so she still would be able to like do well on the exams. You feel me? So we just kind of created like just a good environment like together, and we also would advocate for each other with our professors because like again we were all fighting the same fight, if you will. I still love, like, I found other students outside of like the 4 of us like I really do like. Even today they literally texted me, the one girl is actually back in Philly, we're gonna go to Happy Hour on Wednesday, we're super excited about it, but like we were trauma bonding in that first floor library, Falvey Library. Literally if somebody says, where's Camille Smith, tell me right now where she's at. First floor library. I had a table. People literally won't even sit at the table because I would always be there.
That's your table. The table belonged to you.
If I wasn't in the library, I was in class.
Wow.
If I wasn't in class, I was in the library.
That's really deep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was struggling.
All right, so real quick, right? Everybody just got to go around. Tell me about the time you was in college and your biggest breakdown moment that come to mind. I'm going to go first, though. You feel what I'm saying? So,
like, how many?
So
I was about to say I got a couple. Jesus Christ, look at you. What? How deep we get?
I got a couple too. I'm not gonna act like I only got one. I'm not gonna act like I only got one. Yo, I do have a couple of these, but I remember this time specifically. I don't even know this is like a time frame. So I was a kinesiology major, y'all, and the reason why I was a kinesiology major is because I was a football player and a track athlete.
Oh, word.
So I'm thinking like they told me it was exercise science. That's what they called it. They told me it's exercise.
It's not just
so
that.
they threw me off. You know what I'm saying? They threw me off. Because when I came to class, these classes don't got nothing to do with exercise. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Chemistry, biology, physics, physics too. Especially physics too. Y'all tricked me with that. You see what I'm saying? Then exercise physiology. Like, that's really chemistry plus biology plus physics.
Right.
Like, it's not what you think it is.
Right.
Y'all tricked me, but I'm competitive. So like in my heart, listen, I failed anatomy 1.
Yeah.
And I failed anatomy 2. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I'm supposed to drop out at this point. Like at this point, my advisor told me like, you're not cut for this. You're not going to make it. Move on. She told me straight up though. Like that's a white lady.
Who was your advisor?
Her, Dr. Fradkin. Dr. Fradkin. And the reason why Dr. Fradkin wasn't a bad white lady. She supported me at the games. She came to my practice one time. Like, but she just told me straight up, you're not going to make it. Like, you don't got what it takes to make it. You came from the Philadelphia system. I'm sorry. You see what I'm saying? And she told, like, it was what it was. I didn't feel like that was the only time probably where I felt like a lot of people I felt like was hating. I felt like Dr. Fradkin was trying to save me some dollars. Like, you keep trying this thing.
Because I will say the
working.
science program at Bloom was elite.
Dumb hard.
Like, it didn't seem like it just because of the school and where it was placed, but the science program and science majors, like, it was like top at that time, like for when we were.
Bloomberg.
Yeah, we went to Bloomsburg
Yeah,
University.
my sister was gonna go to their nursing school.
Number one nursing
Yeah,
program.
yeah, we basically had the same. We was taking the same classes.
Yeah.
And so I was confused. Why am I taking the same classes as the hardest joint in this? You feel what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, it was after I failed that second anatomy class. No, the breakdown came while I was failing the second one. I was in the lab and I just couldn't do it. Like I knew I couldn't do it. Like I'm looking at this problem. Like you ever looked at the problem? Like I don't know. I don't know where we starting here. Like
we had a test today.
I've been
this is a practical problem too, so it's not even like I'm trying to seem intelligent. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know this. I don't know this answer at all. And so I failed. Yeah. And so yeah, I thought to myself like, damn, what do I do? Because I'm kind of in deep. I told my folks like I'm a science major.
No.
You feel what I told my friends the same thing you was talking about. I spoke too soon. You see what I'm saying? And I really had a moment to myself. But the other things that was happening at this time, I think my grandmom was dying. That's things that happen.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? I was injured. I got hurt. You feel what I'm saying? So football, all I knew I was hurt. So it was a lot going on at this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was breaking down bad. But I bounced back. I passed. I got that BS. But
Period.
yeah, go ahead.
I have two. One, my first actual engineering exam. So like for Camille, so this is how I freaked my BS, at least initially. So you can take a lot of advanced placement classes, right? And of course you can like get the college credit. I didn't want to take so I took all of like my AP tests and I either got 4s or 5s, but I didn't take the credits because I was like, all right, freshman year I want to get like comfortable. So like I'm gonna take these classes, I already know the information, gonna get A's, hopefully cushion my GPA a little bit because everybody's saying Chemie is like real hard. So sophomore year, first semester is the first like actual engineering class. It was called ChemProc or chemical processes. It was like material balances. So I take my first exam. It was hard, but I'm like, I study for it, like whatever. Maybe like a week or two later, we come in. Dr. Punzi, I'll never forget this. Oh my goodness. I sit down.
Like
he's like pacing in the front of the whatever, but he's a character. So I'm like, like whatever. He's like, all right, guys, like for those that got like 30s or 40s, like don't be discouraged. Like that happens. I turn to my friend. I'm like 30 or 40 out of 50. Like what do you wait 30 and 40? Like 30 and 40.
The realization is truly hurtful.
30 and 40.
The realization is humbling. It's
30 and 40
humbling.
out of 50, what we talking about?
No, right. I'm like,
What are we talking about here?
you know what I'm saying? Like, So we talked earlier like that, like you get the test and you. Oh, I got a 37%. 37. I don't know 50% of the stuff on the exam. When I tell you, I literally walked out of the classroom. I called my dad. I said, Dad, I know that I just came back from Thanksgiving. I was telling everybody that I was a chemical engineer. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. He goes, Camille, did you talk to your teacher? No. The teacher just gave me the 37. The teacher knows that I'm stupid.
Remorse to me.
The teacher's the one that
The teacher is the reason.
the teacher told me that I was stupid. What do you mean? He's like, Camille, you need to go back in there. You need to go to office hours. You need to go through the exam. You need to whatever. Did bounce back. I ended up getting, I think either B+ or A- in that class. So bounce back, cool. My second one was very similar to your story in that I actually failed one class. I failed Orgo 2. Yeah, Orgo 2.
What is Orgo? Can you tell us real quick?
Yes, organic chemistry. So that's like like carbons and stuff, like benzene rings. You like drawing and stuff, nomenclature. I hate Orgo. That's why for pharmaceuticals, like small molecules, the tablets, they're doing like chemical reactions. No, I can't do that. But failed Orgo 2. And as I was failing, like I knew I was failing at midterms, but I'm also either competitive or just delusional. So I'm like, if I get an A on every single quiz from here on out, like I'm gonna get a C+ in the class. Like, yeah, I'm about to study so hard and like, I'm gonna pull this out. My teacher literally is telling me like, Camille, like drop the class, like please, like drop the class.
Never.
Shock for you.
Because he like knows me as a person, so he's like, Camille, like you literally could just take it next semester, like just drop the class, like don't even. I'm like, nah, like I can do this, like I'm gonna get an A on every single quiz, like it's fine. I did not get an A on every single quiz. So I'm sitting there. We have a 14-page final. I'm just flipping through the exam.
14-page final?
I don't know none of the answers. Not one of the answers did I feel comfortable, did I feel confident. I'm flipping through it. I'm honestly sitting there. I'm just sitting there so other people don't perceive that I really don't know the answers. And I'm just like, doodling some stuff on the
Wait,
list.
so what was the test form? Like, was it like multiple choice, open end?
There was some multiple choice. There was some like naming, like structures. I didn't know none of it. I knew, you know what I didn't know? My name on the top of the paper. And it's so embarrassing now because I'm just like, Camille, it was my ego. Like, I should have just dropped it. There was literally no reason for me to even put myself through the mental turmoil that I ended up, because like when I ended up getting like the failing grade, I was like, oh my gosh, I was failing the whole semester. It wasn't new news. No, like when you like have like a D in the class, you're like, oh, like maybe if I really
get this one on the
you
final.
know what I'm saying? Like if I really study, I was failing regardless. Like I would have had to literally get like all the questions right and all the bonus questions for the teacher to feel bad enough to round my grade up to like a D. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. But I took it the next year. I got a B minus. And I felt really good about it.
We bounced back. And that's, you feel what I'm saying? This is the winner's culture
really
where we bounce back. You feel me?
Everyone's back story is like, I got an A. No, I almost still got a C+, but I passed it. I graduated.
And that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Blondie, what
That's
about
all
you?
that
You
matters.
broke down?
Many times. Many times. Many times. College was really, I will say, not to get too deep, but I didn't have the typical college experience for a lot of different reasons. But I did have many breakdowns.
Word.
One of those, I have two also, but the first one of the most memorable ones, I also was pre-med at first.
I
When I
didn't
got up in
know
there.
that.
Yeah.
What?
She said,
I took intro to bio with Dr. Sermaz.
Okay.
just
and-
sounds crazy.
Let me tell you, Dr. Sermaz, she was not to be played with. Like, she was the loveliest little old lady you'd ever find. Like Martha Stewart,
That'd
literally.
be worse, though.
She
That'd be
did
worse.
not mess around. Oh my God. Like, she literally did not mess around. And I remember, like, again, I'm either super competitive or delusional, thinking, like, I can do this. But much like your story, I was failing the class the whole time anyway, because I just wasn't a good student. Like, I didn't know she was coming like that. I didn't know she was coming like that. Like, I didn't study. I wasn't trying. I just would kind of like show up to the lecture class and do, the online quizzes or whatever. Anyway, my most humbling moment for her was, I think it was the midterm maybe. I took this test, didn't study before because I was also an athlete in school. I was playing rugby. So I'm like, yeah, I remember enough. I got that test back in the 30s. And like, literally, I'm hearing your story and I'm getting like flashbacks because I'm hearing it. I sat at the front of the lecture class and everything.
Turn this over.
Like,
How'd you do? I did good.
She handed it back.
Yeah.
I said after I spent $60 on the clicker for this class, you want to give me a 37?
Clicker, not the clicker. I used to love the clickers. That's so funny.
Like, what do you mean? I live for those clicker questions in the morning. Like, I'm here with my iced coffee. I'm ready. I'm here. I did this stuff online. I did it. I'm here. Like, I'm ready. I got the workbook. I'm in the lab. Oh my God. Like, I'm here. I'm ready. Like, I'm dissecting the frogs. I'm cutting the worms.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here. What do you mean? What do you mean a 30? I couldn't understand it. Life was really just breaking down for me. Like, and it really was a full circle moment because, my uncle had passed away, going into that semester. I was on the outs with my little boyfriend at the time. We had broke up. So it's like, I'm really breaking down right now.
the word.
Like, life is over. Like, I'm struggling right now. So anyways, I walk out of that lecture class. It had to be like 200 people in the lecture class. I walk out and I'm walking on the quad and I'm calling my aunt immediately. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I just need her to answer. And she also, like, similar to your dad, like, go to office hours. What can you do? What can you blah, blah, blah. I don't want no solutions at this time. There's nothing I can do about a 37 right now. What do you mean?
Just listen
Get
to
her to
me.
reverse it.
Like literally, what are you saying to me right now, lady? Like, do you understand how hard this class is? Like, I don't think you don't get it. You don't get it. You're too far removed. You can't. I sat on the quad outside of what was the building name? Science building.
I forgot.
Well, across from SSC.
I passed and I ran.
At across from SSC, I sat out there and I cried. I was on the phone bawling, and I remember too many black people was starting to like get on the
Partner.
quad. It was it started to be that time. Too many of us started to show up. I said, all right, let me walk away. So I'm walking on the quad crying. I'm like, and I just don't understand how, like, you know, and people was like kind of seeing me and they're like, dang, like,
What's wrong?
you
with her?
okay?
Yeah.
And then just real quick, the second one is I played rugby in college and I broke my leg playing rugby. So that was a very, very traumatic.
Like
Yes, I shattered my leg. So you had to put a metal rod and 6 screws in my leg. I shattered my fibia. Fibia. It was called a spiral fracture. So it cracked in the middle, and then it split up the top, and I broke my fibia, and then it split down the bottom, and I shattered my ankle, my malleolus.
Oh my
I
goodness.
had one big leg and one little leg.
Excuse me?
Go ahead. My fault.
What'd you say? So yeah,
Cut that out of the video.
that was
Cut that out. Yeah. Cut that out. Please keep going.
that was a huge breakdown for me in college for a lot of reasons. One, rugby is not typically a black sport.
No,
So I was the only black girl on my team. I just became captain, the only black captain of my team. And it was the start of the season, and I shattered my leg the first game. So it was just like, you know, it was really, really hard for a lot of reasons because I was out for the entire season.
Right.
It was there's a super big tournament at the end of that semester, which would be in June. That's really big. Like, you know, we get to meet the Olympic team. You meet teams from all over the country. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah. So I couldn't play in that. And I remember just breaking down. 1, because I broke my leg. 2, because I'm captain. 3, because I'm black and I'm in the super white sport. And now I'm like crippled, low key. I had to have a surgery mid-semester, and I couldn't withdraw or drop out because the semester was already paid for. Right. And I, you know, my aunt and I worked really hard outside of financial aid to put me through college, and I didn't have that kind of money. So it's like I have to stay. I had to get my surgery during spring break, and come right back to class with a shattered leg, pretty much. And I spent the entire semester on crutches. Did physical therapy all through the summer to come back and play again in October so that I could go to CRCs, which was the tournament that I missed the following year, which I did.
Period.
You know, overcomers
and was
over here.
still, you know, able to finish out my captain season while being a player as well. Right. So that was like a big moment. But it was hard because the surgery, I found out a lot about my health. I was super malnourished. I wasn't eligible for the surgery at first because I had so many health deficiencies, which I had no knowledge of. Like, you know, I had to figure out classes. I had to figure out insurance. It was a specialty surgery, so they had to have a specialist come in to perform the surgery on me. I couldn't go home because we were so far away, so I had to have the surgery 5 hours away from home. I had to stay at a teammate's house to recover because I couldn't, like, you know, be – it was a lot. And this was my junior year of college, and I need to get the F out of here. Because I ain't got no more money for y'all. I have 1 more year left of money for y'all. That's it. I don't have no. Right. You can't pay for that. But it was really hard to overcome. And I was there by myself because at that point, all of my friends had left. I had my teammates, and that was a family. But it wasn't like your friends. You know, I was the only black girl on the team. So it wasn't the same. So I was just by myself, recovering and trying to get back to that and graduate, which I was able to do. Graduated in 4 years, you know, recovered, played again, got to play at CRCs, you know, got to get all the bells and whistles, but that was hard. That was really, really hard to come back from that. Yeah.
So, especially junior year.
Yeah. It's such a pivotal time.
During your time, right, everybody's struggling, right? How did y'all, like, find your support systems? What was y'all, like, favorite form of network? How'd you find your tribe? You feel what I'm saying? Like, because I know you couldn't have done it by yourself. Like, you had to find supportive people. How'd you do it?
I think I was just lucky. Like me and my college roommate, like Marcia, like she just got married. Like, that was my girl. Quite frankly, I didn't really need anybody else outside of her.
That's heavy.
No, for real. Like, that was like when you see her, you saw me. And I feel like even through, because she was actually a business major, so she wasn't even in my classes necessarily, but like you mentioned before, like, like who was your biggest supporter, at least like at school, like it was very much her. Now I'm also very lucky. My family is like, if I needed them, they were going to pull up, you know? So like I did have, you know, times that I was like, you know, mom, dad, like, I'm dropping out. They're like, we'll be there in an hour. Like, girls, stay at the library. Like, they literally, I remember the one time my dad pulled up to the library. Mind you, you had to like literally have like a card, like we have wild cards. Like you had to swipe into the library. I'm like, how did you get in here?
You gonna do what you gotta do.
He said you about to drop out of engineering. We already paid for this semester. So what's up?
That's what I'm saying. Once that semester is paid for, the conversation is different. Like,
and my dad's in finance, but he's also just very, very smart. And I think I get my work ethic from him. But like I had those people that like, you know, they weren't gonna let me fail. Like, you know, they were very invested in me, and like my friend group too. People knew I was going to be first floor library. Like, it was like it sounds, again, dorky, like, looking back on it now, but, like, we weren't able to really go out because we were studying, but, like, we would be kicking it in the first floor library. I saw one of my friends recently from college, and we were talking about, sounds gross, Domino's had this, like, this deal. It was, like, because, you know, you broke in college, too. So it's like late at night, it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock, you study for exams, you get a little hungry because it's like the dining hall, you don't really eat the food. Domino's had this like $7.99 deal. You could get like $7.99 medium, like 2-topping pizza with like a side. And like it got to the point that the Domino's delivery drivers like knew us. Cause we're like, like we in here, we might as well just order some Domino's. We'd have like 4 or 5 pizzas and like the cheesy bread. Anybody? Yeah. The cheesy bread, the lava cake, like we would just be having fun in the library because we had to be there, you know? And like, I feel like my friends from college, specifically again, the chemies or like just like the science majors, they can reach out to me 10, 20 years. I'm always going to answer because like I trauma bonded with them.
Y'all locked in.
Like literally would be, people be saying all-nighters. That's one thing I'll say. People be saying, oh, I pulled an all-nighter last night. When you literally are studying all night, and you walk from the library to your 9:30 a.m. class the next day, if you're not doing that, it's not an all-nighter. If you were able to go back to your room and take a little shower, lay your head down for like an hour or so, you didn't pull an all-nighter. Right. Baby, I was walking from
What's the all-nighter essentials?
Faith.
And black coffee. And Adderall. And Adderall.
That's my thing. I didn't drink coffee in college, y'all. What? It was literally faith. When I say faith, it was faith.
No monster?
Was faith, it was fear, and it was I didn't have no money to retake this class.
It was faith and fear. She graduated off of faith and fear.
That needs to be a soundbite because literally, and I started drinking tea, like caffeinated tea. That was like, ooh, I really need to stay up late today. Like, let me get a chai tea. Like, let me like, and that people would know if I had a chai tea in my hand. Like, oh, like Camille's gonna be up late tonight. Like Camille gonna be up. I hated coffee. I don't know, like the taste of it. I drink it now, you know, like it's cool. But like, I didn't drink coffee in college. That's my little fun fact. And my friends literally, you can fact check that too. My friends know I never drank coffee.
Interesting.
So faith and fear.
Okay.
And I couldn't afford it.
They would put the black coffee and the cookies out in the dorms and the halls. You guys remember that when it was finals week?
In the lobby, they had the cookies in the
Listen, a black coffee hate to see me coming. I hate to see me coming because
Yo, one time.
Listen, that was the one.
I think I'm allergic to coffee too. I ain't even gonna hold you. Let me tell you though.
All you do is lie. Like,
this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all.
You allergic to caffeine? What are you allergic to?
Look,
the caffeine?
But look, y'all have to hear this story, right? I was trying to study for a class, right?
Okay.
I was last minute. I was a procrastinator. And I think
stand procrastinator.
I think I was a procrastinator because I had a lot going on.
I respect
You see what I'm saying? So it's like I was doing 5, 6, 7 different things, and class came somewhere in the middle of that list. You see what I'm saying? So I used to get a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee to keep me up. And one night I had a final the next day. It was some science final. I don't remember which. And I went and I got the extra large Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. And I'm not lying. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going, like my heart, like I could hear
the sugar.
SVT.
It's all that sugar. It's not
SVT.
even the caffeine at that point. It's the sugar.
Like I could hear my heart in my head.
You shouldn't have even been up that late. Bro.
No, I shouldn't have.
SVT, I'm telling you.
I need it. What's that?
It's I forget what the actual acronym is, but it's basically when your heart is like in basically when you like run fast, like your heart's beating like fast, whatever. But SVT is like when you're like sitting down, you're not like exercising or anything, and your heart is beating that quickly. Because I had SVT my junior year because I was so stressed trying to take all these classes, and the doctor was literally like, "You either need to drop the major or stop." And I was like,
You gotta relax.
"But again, I already paid for this."
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Find a
by that?
compromise.
That was
What do you
when I
mean
had the
by
surgery
that?
on my
I'm
leg.
like, can you tell my professors that? Just record that, say it one more time so I can play it for them when I get back. He's
Literally,
like, no, you
so I
can't.
can try to get back in where I started
Listen,
like next year. It's not.
Do you want me to tell you, to give you
Get
context,
into
how
it.
crazy my professors were?
Get into it.
So also to give context too, so when I started creating content on TikTok after I graduated. And literally I blew up because I was telling story times about how crazy my professors were. Case in point, I had this one professor, he shall not be named. If he ever were to see this, he knows exactly who it is because he knows. Anyway, I had a professor in every single class. We had it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every class we had a for completion like homework assignment. So you just had to turn it in by a certain time. It didn't matter if you got the answers right. You know, as long as it was in Blackboard, you know, you would get 100. Did the homework assignment. And it was due. It was Thursday. I did the homework assignment. I was in the library. I finished my homework early, which never happened. So my friends were like, "Oh, we're gonna go to like this like party off campus. Like, do you want to come?" And again, I never really did stuff during the week, so I was like, "Oh, like you know what? I finished my homework. Like, what's up? You know, like cool." But my mistake was I didn't turn it in to Blackboard. Remember that? So I went to the party off campus. You know, we're cooling, we're kikiing. You know, everything is fine. We're in a basement though, and the basement is like very dusty. We referenced allergies earlier. I'm allergic to dust.
Right.
I start having an allergic reaction
Okay.
to the point that I literally cannot breathe in this basement. So everyone is like inebriated, like it's a college party, and I'm over here like I can't breathe. Like no one, the music is loud. I'm literally trying to like motion to my friend like I'm gonna pass out. Like I hadn't drank nothing. I hadn't smoked. Like literally, my lungs just weren't doing what they're supposed to. I get my friend's attention. We go back to campus. I go to the health center. I have to get a nebulizer treatment. Like literally, like I'm like not breathing, right? I have a nebulizer treatment, and because I'm not breathing, they won't send me back to my dorm because they're like, "Oh, we have to monitor you." I'm like, "All right, cool." It's like 12:30 a.m. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't turn in my homework," and they're like, "Oh, like you can't go back to your room until 10." My class is at 10:30, but my homework is due at 9 on Blackboard. I'm like I'm literally like in tears. Also, the fact that I'm so upset also like shows you like how the professor is. I'm like, all right, what do I do? I sent an email. It's like 2:30. I'm literally puffing the nebulizer. I'm like, all right, like Dr. So-and-so, like this is what happened. I'm having an asthma attack. They're not letting me go home, like all this stuff. Can I please just turn my homework in at 10? Like I promise I'll be at class, but like, can I just turn my homework in like late? He responds back 5 minutes later. First red flag. Why are you up right now? Whoa. Whoa.
Right. He had a wife playing that Luther.
Whoa, he probably at the party. Responds back, he's like, "Oh, like this is a lesson. You should never procrastinate on turning in like your homework. You knew when the deadline was, like turn it in." What do? I have to call my roommate, wake her up because she didn't go with me. Wake her up, have her bring my backpack to the health center, so I can scan it on my phone to then be able to put it into Blackboard for completion grade. It wasn't even, you weren't even looking. I could have literally just put anything into Blackboard, and then literally I went into class, like I was able to go because like the nurses like let me leave, and he was like, "Oh, like Camille, how are you feeling?"
Don't ask me that, yo. Stop playing with me. Don't ask me that.
Listen.
I had a professor like that. Yep.
They
live
I should have
to
known
menace.
that I should have known my lungs were gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just live to menace. I had it was theater appreciation. Y'all that went to Bloom know.
That was one of my favorite classes. I got a story about that.
Bruce Canlish, count your days. For sure.
Zoom in on her too.
I don't care. I will name names. You, sir, he is a menace. He was a menace to all society. This man. So I had a concussion from rugby. Yeah, I had a concussion.
So, Camille, can you tell us about STEM Social? How did that come about? You know, what it is?
Yes. So STEM Social, I consider a hub for aspiring and established Black STEM professionals.
Okay.
It came about from creating content. So again, I started creating content on TikTok in 2020. I was telling story times about undergrad, just like different horror stories, but I was also kind of mixing in some advice, like how to deal with professors that you don't like and like stuff like that. And a lot of people in my comments were talking about like, oh, like I'm the only black girl in my class. Like, oh, like I wish I had more black people in my classes. And then I kind of noticed that people started like meeting each other in my comments. Like, oh, I go to this school. And then like, I remember the one interaction. I go to this school. And then somebody was like, oh, I go to that school too, but I'm just majoring in this. And like, oh, like we should go to whatever coffee shop tomorrow. I'm assuming again on the campus somewhere. So I'm like seeing these interactions. I always read all my comments. People that say like, oh, I don't read my comments, they're lying. I'm like reading these comments. I'm like, oh, like that's cool. Like that's dope. Like, okay, cool. And then slowly again, my comments started to turn into like, oh, look, if you like have an event, like I'll come. But I feel like people on the internet, they be saying anything sometimes, and you have to be cognizant too. But people just kept being really, really persistent about it. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll do like something small in Philly, like maybe like 10, 15 people. Made a video about it, put tickets on sale, sold out. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
So now these people gave me their money. Now I actually have to show up and meet all these people that I don't know. Like, oh my goodness, like this is terrifying. So I actually ended up having it at, have you guys ever been to Liberty Grounds? It's like in like, where?
It's on Girard, about like 18th and Girard.
Yes. And it's really cute. It's like a bar, but like miniature golf place. And we went there and we literally had a ball. Like, I feel like the event was supposed to be like 2 hours. We literally were in there for like 5 hours, just like getting drinks, like getting apps. Like it was like just really, really fun. And of course I made a video about it because I was like, okay, like, you know, do a little recap, whatever. And once I posted that, people were like, oh, well, like, you know, come to New York, like, oh, come to DC, come to Boston, come to wherever. And I'm like, again, whoa, this was literally just like supposed to be one thing. So I started hosting like these small events specifically for black women. And then I met one of my close friends now, Jamik. He responded to one of my videos about a specific professor at my undergrad, and he's actually doing his master's there right now. And he goes, like, again, I don't want to be like weird. I don't know, guys can be weird on the internet, but like, are you talking about so and so? And I'm like, yeah, like, how you know that? Like, that's crazy because again, only 4 black people in my undergrad. So I'm like, you didn't go there. Like, who are you? Because I'm doing my chemical engineering like master's degree. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I literally hate that man.
I'm so sorry.
And he's like, oh, look, I love what you're doing with like for black women, but like, can black men come? Like, can you have like one event for like everybody? And I was like, no, love you. But then he was really persistent about it in the most respectful way possible. He's like, listen, like I have like 4 sisters. Like, again, I really think that the space is really important for black women, but like black men don't talk to each other as much. And it's like so hard to meet people on the internet. And like, he's the only black guy in his like major, like at, you know, in his master's program. So he's like, again, like I'll help you plan it. Like, you know, whatever. And after like after the 3rd time, because he reached out to me 3 times. After the 3rd time, I was like, all right, I'll at least meet you in person and see if I like you, and like, you know, we'll see what we do. So we ended up going to Man Young Brewing because he like lived around there at the time. Met again, very like cool conversation. He's still one of like my closest friends now. And then we hosted a mixer. So like mixers are for like all black people in STEM, and like it just kind of started going from there. And I still love to give him his flowers because had he not,
this is happening.
That was 2022 into 2023. So the government respected STEM Social as an entity June 2023. I've technically been hosting events since beginning of 2022.
Okay.
And again, it was honestly my friends that were like, bro, like you've been traveling around hosting events, like this needs to be like a thing. I'm like, okay. And I'm also not a really creative person either. So like, I'm like, okay, like what would I call it? And I thought it was kind of cool because like social, SOUL, it's for black people, by black people, you feel me? But I think a lot of times STEM professionals, we always have like networking events, but like, I'm an outgoing person, but like networking events can be like very like, I don't know, scary, and like, first impressions are like super important, and like I don't know, it just can be like a lot sometimes. So like my events, I'm trying to make sure that like we're really focusing on like the relationships, because every other racial demographic focus on friendships and relationships and rapport, and that's how, you know, a job opening opens up. Okay, well, oh, my friend does XYZ. Like we need to be able to do that for ourselves as well, specifically within the STEM space, because there's not a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? So like if I'm able to meet people in Chicago, meet people in LA, meet people wherever we're at. We're currently now in 15 major cities, which is crazy. I'm able to be like, oh, like a software engineering job. I met a guy named Byron in Chicago. Like, let me connect you. Or, oh, you're interested in getting UX UI. I literally met this girl in Orlando. Like, I'll connect the two of you. And like, I've been able to kind of be like the glue. And now I'm hoping that Sem Social can kind of be that glue, and I can eventually take a step back, and like the system will, kind of, work itself. You feel? So, I think it's funny that it kind of became a thing from like others just kind of like meeting each other in the comments, and then I was like, oh, like this would be kind of cute if we all like were friends together at an event in the city near you.
Well, I heard you say just now that you feel like you're not that creative.
No.
But like you make very creative content, and you're like an excellent storyteller. You feel what I'm saying? Do you not consider these things creative?
I do. I think I have been conditioned that like I've always been a very technical person, like again, very nerdy, very dorky, like whatever. And although creativity and like technical professions should go hand in hand, I do feel like I was just taught that like you are a technical professional, like that's what you're supposed to do. So when I started storytelling, it was more just again me talking about my life and like trying to figure out things in real time. So like even like you go through my page now, like you know exactly what I've done all year. Like, you know, all the trips that I've gone on, like certain like exciting things that are happening, life events, like different things that I'm doing. I'm literally vlogging my life. Now, am I making it prettier, I guess, for like people to, or am I making it more entertaining? Sure. Like, because like, I've been able to get like a certain cadence of like how I do voiceovers and whatever, but like, I don't know. I think one of the best pieces of advice I can give for creatives is like, don't make your life about content. Make your content about your life, and it'll be way more sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have to schedule time to create my content because I'm just making content about my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I want to do a video about like outfits that I wore to work before I leave for work, I'm gonna stand in front of the camera, do a few turns, kiki, whatever, and then I'll keep going. So every day I'll do that before I leave, and then at the end of the week I can just cut it together and then like what I wore in a week as a black 25 scientist, post it on TikTok. Oh my God, like you know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's content about me. It's content about things that I'm already doing, and I think the creativity, even though yes, it is there. It's more in college. I wasn't following anyone that was doing what I was doing. So like I'm trying to create content that it's like, all right, there's gonna be a little black girl in like freshman year that's like failed her exam, and she's like, oh, like I shouldn't be doing this, and I'm like, no girl, I failed too. Still was able to put on the white lab coat, still was able to put on the goggles, still making medications, like we can still do it. You know what I'm saying? And you can travel the world, and you can have your friends, and you can be doing all this other stuff too. Long-winded answer. So I think I am creative to a certain extent. I'm getting more comfortable in creative spaces. I will say sometimes I do still feel a little bit uncomfortable because even when people are like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do a few things.
Right.
I do like a lot of stuff.
That's how we met.
Exactly. Literally when you asked me that, I was like, well, like why am I in this space with you currently? I'm a content creator. Like, what do I do also? I'm a scientist, So I'm trying to get more comfortable with like what my introduction actually is and being more comfortable that like I am a multidimensional person. Like I can be multiple things and it's not like weird.
Yeah, you definitely got a whole creative side. I'm excited for it. Hopefully we get a voiceover, man. Hopefully,
yes, what?
You feel what I'm saying? But to the point of, the winners coach and everything, we got to talk about the other side of everything. The more, I guess, the trials and tribulations of trying to do something. Everybody goes through them. So far in STEM Social, what has been the hurdles that you feel like you've had to overcome?
Not knowing the business of things or not knowing how important business is. I feel like in school as like a STEM major, again, my roommate was a business professional or business major. So like, I never was like, like business students don't be doing nothing, but like there was like a certain like, y'all be doing stuff, but like not what I be doing. You feel me?
There's a difference.
But everything is business. Like everything is like money. Everything is like how you can pitch yourself to people. And my roommate and I literally had a conversation when I started like hosting events. I'm like, bro, like, how do I price tickets? Like how do I like go about like how do I make a website? Do you not have to you have to pay to make a website? And you have to like budget to be able to have that. Like if you're going to be doing a podcast, like you have to like buy certain microphones. Now again, you don't have to have all the most expensive equipment. Like we know that, but it's like you need to know how things work. You need to know the game in order to play the game. And I feel like I just did not know any of that. So like there's like a lot of stuff that like when I started doing STEM Social, I was literally just trying to break even. Like I was literally just trying to like not have to like like I'm like, all right, I can get the ticket sales. I can hold on to like the money for as long as possible and be able to spend for it. But like there were a lot of events that I lost a lot of money on. And again, I love that I was creating like the friendships or creating the space for the friendships to prosper for sure. Like, yes. But like financially, I'm like, I can't keep, I have to figure something out. So I'm really happy that like my STEM social community, like they've grown with me. Like, so I was like, when I ended up increasing my tickets, because initially I was selling tickets for $10. You can't do nothing with $10. Okay. You can't do nothing with $10. not nary a thing with $10. Okay. So I'm like, all right, like so when I increased my ticket, now my tickets across the board are $35. So if it's a mixer, if it's a meetup, like you can do something with $35. You know what I'm saying? But I also want to make sure that I'm creating an environment that people actually want to pay $35 to go to. I want to make sure that they're actually getting something. So for mixers, you get a welcome drink or you get a beverage when you come in. If you're 21 plus, you get, of course, food. I'm facilitating like the different networking events. We also do 50-50 raffles. So like I'm giving them, things to buy $35 tickets to. So that was just hard. It was just even like the marketing thing, like, okay, how do I market something without feeling too salesy and like, am I gonna keep posting about that? Are people gonna get annoyed? Like all this stuff. Mind you, for advice to other people, keep posting whatever you're trying to get people to know. Like people that are the most engaged with me, like the first viewer on the story, they're always there. Those people literally will still DM me and be like, oh, like when's your next event? I talk about this every day. I'm literally making stories every day, and you're the first viewer, and you don't know when my next event is. Please, people don't be reading stuff. I think you have to, like, see something 7 times before, like, buying something or, like, to really, like, lock in whatever it is. Keep posting about it. So even for me, I was like, is this going to be annoying? Even when I start creating content, I'm like, are people going to be, like, annoyed by this? Who cares, bro?
You're not worried about it.
And people would say that, and I'm like, people would say that to say that. No, like, really, who cares? Because your audience is going to be your audience. So people that are going to gravitate towards you are going to gravitate towards you. And the people that don't want to gravitate towards you, honestly, that's a good thing. Like, you want people that follow you to actually be engaged with you. So if someone unfollows you, that's honestly a benefit for you. So you don't have to be worried about their view because they weren't going to be engaged anyway. You know what I'm saying? But that's, like, again, our hurdle that I was like, dang, like, I don't know. There's just so much to think about.
So how do you get a lot of views? You feel what I'm saying? You figure something out.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? How do you make your content stand out?
Biggest advice, make a series. So I don't think, 2 things. Hot take, I don't think that anyone should have a niche. Sorry to say. I think your niche should be you as a person. Because I literally have followed people like the greats, like when it comes to like beauty. So like Jackie Aina is like a really great example. We fell in love with her. You know what I'm saying? We fell in love with her as a person. So she can still do beauty. Now she has a candle line. Now she does like home content. Now she travels like with her husband, like, so, or fiance, I guess, whatever. But like she's doing all these things. She started with beauty, and that's fine. But like she was trying to make sure that we knew who she was as a person, as opposed to just talking about like the makeup, because makeup is just makeup, and it's just gonna be that forever. Mm-hmm. So if you're creating content about yourself and making us fall in love with you, then we're sustainable, like over a long period of time, we're gonna like keep rocking with you. Yeah. My other piece of advice is that to make a series. So like you want your content to be about you, and like, again, whether that be like, I'll drink hot chocolate any time of the year. Like, one thing about me, if I go to a coffee shop, because again, I don't really like coffee that much, I'm going to try hot chocolate. That's how I'm going to know if I like a coffee shop or not. People know that about me. It's a very weird quirk. I'll literally be drinking a hot chocolate in the middle of the summer. That's me. Is that a serial killer tendency? I don't know, but that's me. You feel me? So, like, small things about me, like, people, like, just know. So, like, when you're making a series, though, so again, like, for my vlog, I'm like, welcome back to a day in my life. Today we're doing, You know what I'm saying? Like every single video. So anytime that I have a vlog, welcome back to Today in Life. Like today we're doing XYZ. So like people can recognize it. You don't even have to be even like locked into whatever it is. But when you hear that, oh, Camille's doing something today. Like let me tap in. Like is she traveling? Is she in Philly? Is she like whatever? You know what I'm saying? So making a series allows you to still be connected to your audience and that they know what to expect from you. And a series can look like literally anything. Like it can be either like fashion, it can be you can really mix it and shake it depending on whatever you're interested in. But having some series that people actually know you for is super helpful. And again, on TikTok, you literally can see right now there's this guy that makes cucumber salads. I'm never gonna make a cucumber salad. I'm not. However, anytime that I see his thing, he's like, sometimes you have to eat an entire cucumber. And then he starts making the cucumber and chopping it up. And then he's like, you add the sesame oil, you add chili oil, you add XYZ. You got to shake it up real well. And then he's saying things that every single video he's going to say. I know that he's going to say them. But I still sit there because I'm just like, oh, like, what's he going to put in the thing today? Like, and then he eats the whole thing. He eats the whole thing with chopsticks. You feel me? He eats the whole thing with chopsticks. And, like, again, it's a series. He literally has gone from, like, I think I found him at, like, 50K. He has, like, 800,000 followers now. I literally found him, like, 2 weeks ago. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So a series, you like, people are, anytime that they come up, you know, you're locked in. Okay, what are they doing today? This other girl started making egg flights. Why is somebody making egg flights?
What is the egg flight?
Literally, she makes, like, it's not a hard-boiled egg. What's, like, it's hard on the outside, but it's still jammy in the middle. You feel me?
Deviled egg?
Not kind of a deviled egg, but like soft-boiled egg. Okay, cool. She'll make like 3 soft-boiled eggs. She'll cut them in half, so that'll kind of be the base, and she'll put different like toppings on top of it. So like one will be like prosciutto, mozzarella, like bunch of different stuff. Then she'll put like jalapenos, like cream cheese, whatever. But she makes all these different eggs, and then she'll eat all of them and rate them. Bro, every time she pops on my screen, I'm gonna watch it. Am I ever gonna make an egg flight? I honestly have thought about it because I do like eggs. However, it's a series. It's something that you can like get invested in. You want to be able to bring your audience, you know, in with you on something.
Okay.
So for me, it's vlogs. Again, people know that I be traveling. So welcome back to A Day in My Life. Today we're at the airport. Y'all know I show up at the airport an hour before because, you know, TSA pre-check. Not with y'all, you feel me? Got to the gate, got my Dunkin', get a bagel, get an apple juice or a hot chocolate, sit at the gate, we're doing XYZ. You feel me? Yeah. So making a series, again, with something about your life, people are just going to be locked in on it. That's just like, people want to be nosy, and also people just want to be involved in something. So again, the cucumber guy, like, I know that he's gonna make another video tomorrow, and I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it when he comes up. Like literally, I don't even like cucumbers, and I genuinely might make it just to see if it tastes good. Like just to see if it tastes good. Now you have people, and when you do series, then you have people wanting to try it because they're interested. So now I have people on my For You page trying cucumber salads. Like, I know y'all saw the homeboy making the thing, so I'm gonna make it, and we gonna try it and rate it 1 through 10. Keith Lee, you feel me? So like he also has that series. Yeah. I got it. Let's try it. I'm gonna do it 1 through 10. You feel me? Like that's a series, and everyone knows it. So like, that's a long-winded answer. 2 pieces of advice.
No, we appreciate it. You see what I'm saying? We need
That's it.
That was amazing. You had brought up Jackie Aina, because I also was a fan of her back in the day. Like, you know, just falling in love with the person and the longevity of that. What do you feel like your ultimate goal is for STEM Social and the longevity of that platform?
I don't know. Don't ask me that. I want STEM Social to be... the glue for the Black STEM professional ecosystem. I grew up with a lot of, especially in college, I grew up with a lot of different orgs, like NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers, real dope. NOBUSHE, National Organization of Black Chemists and Chemical Engineers, real dope. However, I think a lot of those organizations are very professional facing, but nobody's really tapping into the social aspect that we all actually need. So I'm hoping that. So I want to work. I'm also very collaborative. I want to work with all those organizations too. Like I want to be, NESB has a national conference. I want to be STEM Socials brought in or hired to come in to do the social networking aspect of it. Like we're hosting not a party, because that's also a very different thing. I'm not hosting parties, but hosting like those social networking events to really set the tone for, yes, the professional aspect is important, but so is the social aspect. Like we are all we have, and we need to be cool with each other. We need to be friends with one another. We need to know. One of my favorite activities to do at the events is like we'll do like kind of like a speed networking type thing. And my favorite question to ask people, specifically STEM professionals, is if your degree was not for you, who was it for? And at least one person in the crowd's gonna be teary-eyed talking about their grandmother. Me in particular, like my grandma, bro, I would do anything for that woman. And like then people have the ability to talk about, maybe they lost the person that their degree was for. But like asking questions, or STEM Social can hopefully be the org that like ask the questions that like we're immediately breaking down the small talk. We can all know what your favorite color is a little bit later. But like, okay, I met homegirl and she did it for XYZ, but like I remember she's a UX UI designer. It's because her uncle's sister was doing whatever, and like now I know this job opportunity, and like maybe actually I can like let her know about it. Maybe she doesn't know somebody, but like maybe her friend can be whatever. And it's just the connections. I want STEM Social to be a place that we're all starting to actually connect to one another, because professional settings it's transactional. You know what I'm saying? And there's a time and a place for that. That's fine. But like STEM Social hopefully will be able to actually create a legitimate rapport for people. So not only are we, when I was younger, going into STEM, there was not a lot of black people in STEM. Okay, fine. When I graduated, there are a lot of us, but we're just not connected to one another. So if we're able to actually get to know one another to a certain degree, even if I've met a lot of software engineers, nurses, I will never be in that field, or at least I don't think so, but I know a lot about them. And when I know now a lot of like, science recruiters that they're like, oh, like we're looking for this type of position, I now always know at least one person that can refer to a job. Yeah. And I want everybody, specifically within the black community, within STEM, to be able to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I do. So long term, that's what I'm hoping for it to be, an umbrella org that's helping everybody, very collaborative, but just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of STEM professionals are very lonely, and we have to deal with so much, sorry for cursing, but like so much bullshit on a regular basis, like microaggressions on a regular basis. Like we're not staying in the field because we're not welcome in the field. So somebody needs to do something that we feel comfortable being there. Right. You feel me? So hopefully STEM Social is able to do that, and create an environment that it's like no one should walk into any room, no black person should walk into any room and not feel comfortable there, because they know even if they're the only black person in the department, they have a whole community behind them that like when I go to an event in Philly, in New York, in DC, whatever, like all those people are going through the same thing. Yeah. Long-winded.
No, I feel like community makes a difference for sure.
Yes, it all comes. I want it to be a very, very large community, and I want it to be intentional. Intention is like one of my main. It's a part of my purpose, I wholeheartedly feel. So, yeah.
So on that same note of what you're trying to do, right? What is your definition of success now, and how has it changed over time?
I think success in my current iteration of life is just like, it sounds kind of backwards, but like as long as I'm failing forward and often, I feel like that's going to be very positive for like my own growth. So like, although failing is very uncomfortable, because we talked about failing in exams and stuff, still very uncomfortable to feel, but success for me when I'm, at the end of this year, at the end of next year, when it comes to STEM Social, is like, maybe I'm going to lose, a decent amount of money. I'm not going to break even on an event. Like maybe I'm not going to do whatever, but like when I didn't break even on the one event I'm thinking of, I learned that I needed to either charge more, I needed to get more sponsors, I needed to learn how to pitch more, I needed to learn how to do all these things. So like when I fail, I learn way faster than when I'm like doing well. Which hopefully I'll be able to learn how to not do that, and like I'll learn when I'm doing well too. Right. But for me, when I'm failing, like I'm like I don't know, I don't like failing, so I learn like quicker, if you will. And I definitely did not feel that success looked like that before. I didn't want anything to do with failure, like, at all.
I feel like that's a super mature like answer to that question, because like you said, all of us have had experiences with failure that didn't make us feel good.
Right.
So to understand that like that's so necessary to grow, especially in what you're doing, I think is going to take you to the next level for sure, and it has been. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's working.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So it's 2 questions left.
Okay.
The first of the 2 is, and the crazy part is this question about mental health. Like, make sure y'all get y'all checked. So you do so much. You're a chemical engineer. You have STEM social. You do the content. It seems like you don't sleep, right? How do you balance your mental health with so much going on?
Great question. It's definitely something I'm getting better at over time. I do think that I'm actually currently in a period that I'm trying to prioritize my mental health. So for me, at least with STEM Social, I have ambassadors all over the country, which I'm very, very lucky for. So like, we had an event in Detroit either this past weekend or the weekend before. I messaged my team. I said, yo, I cannot fly out there. Like, I've literally been on the road for the past like 4 weeks. Like, I can't do it. And I was lucky enough that my ambassadors were like, we got it. Like, we can do XYZ. Just like, let us know what the reservation is. Like, let us know whatever. And they were able to step up. But also, like, I'm prioritizing my mental health by asking for help. And everyone's not afforded that help. So because I do have the help, that like I, can actually ask somebody, asking for help the most that I can, or the best way that I can. I also realized that I can only do all the stuff that I do when I have stability. And that stability looks like, my family is good, my apartment is clean, and I'm working out. When one of those 3 is not doing what it's supposed to, I can't, it's not sustainable for me. And for me, the past month, specifically like July, I was not working out. Like, I wasn't working out, and I just I felt sluggish. I just didn't feel good. So this month, I'm really trying to get back into the swing of things. And does that mean that I'm going to have to maybe miss some stuff? Sure. But I know about myself that I have to have those 3 things in check for me to even be able to do all these stuff and be able to show up at the events and be able to show up, and be, happy, go lucky, and be myself, So prioritizing my mental health is more me being honest with myself and knowing what I can and can't do. I think when I was younger, I thought I could do everything, and I can, but within reason. Because also something that I learned and something that my dad told me too is a lot of times you really only, when you're building something, you are your backup. So if I'm not taking care of myself, and if I, God forbid, my health, my physical health, my mental health, goes down, STEM Social is not going to continue. I have my team, but they're not going to be able to continue to churn out stuff because right now I'm the backbone of it, So if I care about what I'm doing, if I care about the content, if I care about my job, if I care about STEM Social, I need to be taking care of myself. So it's kind of a mindset shift.
Okay. Damn, that's a good answer. I gotta take that into account. You see me slipping, make sure I hit the gym tomorrow.
Listen, again, it's different for everybody. For me, I'm a solid core person. I love solid core. It's.
What is solid core? I've been seeing everybody going to solid core. I don't know what that is.
It's a high intensity Pilates.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
what y'all be doing on the table though? I don't understand.
Well, so solid core technically calls it a Svetlana, so it's a little bit different, but it's a reformer. But it's just I feel a lot of workouts don't actually focus on your core as much as people think. Solid core, you gonna find out if your core is solid or not. And I promise you, most people is not.
It's a machine to help to assist you with the moves.
Yes.
Okay.
So just think how HIIT workouts you focus on abs, arms, things like that.
Right.
You focus on areas, but it's at a very slow, controlled pace. So it's more about think planks.
Okay.
Yes.
But in a variation of moves, and the reformer Svetlana helps you do those moves and control them, do slow controlled motions. So you'll do planks, but you'll be rocking back and forth on the plank.
Ab roller.
Yeah. I see what you're
It's
saying.
basically ab roller variations,
but
of
just
ab
your
roller,
body.
50 minutes. Yeah.
But just your body.
Yeah.
Solid core is
Because
hard.
you'll also have springs too, which different resistances can make it either harder or easier depending on what moves you're doing. but it's really low impact. This is what I personally like because like my knees aren't really good, even though like I have been running, which also has been pretty good. But I have to work out. Like it's like I have to, and when I don't, my mind gets all.
No, see, clearly I feel that. So the last question, right, is called Give Us Some Game. So this is to any, young black girl that's trying to get into STEM, that's trying to be like Camille, like what would you tell them?
First, don't be like me, be like you. Because generally you're the only person that can be you. There is a lot of positives in asking questions. Ask questions early, ask questions often. I think I wouldn't have failed that class if I asked questions. You can just get yourself out of a lot of trouble early if you just ask people questions. Fail early, fail often. Because usually, again, you can learn, rather quick when you do fail things. And again, it's a mindset shift. Failing isn't necessarily. A lot of the growth happens when you are either uncomfortable or you're failing something. So like if your goal is to be whatever's in your mind, most likely you're going to have to fail a few things in order to get to whatever that is. And specifically for black girls, even if you don't have somebody in your life or someone that you can look to that's doing what you want to do, be that person for the girl behind you. Because I love my family down, but like I'm the first engineer in my family, and like it felt like I was just running in the dark for 4 or 5 years, just trying to figure out what it was. But like now, being able to like get DMs from people that are freshmen or sophomores, like, should I take fluid mechanics? I'm like, girl, no, don't do it. Jokes, kind of, but being able to be that person for people now, like if you don't see it, be it, or if you don't see something, create it. That's what STEM Social is. I wish that I had something like STEM Social when I was in college. What? Oh my goodness. But I didn't. So now I'm post-grad and I'm trying to do it for, the people that are behind me and people that are, beside me as well. And also peer-to-peer networking is better than networking up. You'll understand that when you're a little bit older. But network with the people around you. It's way better, I promise. Because when you're coming up with people that like you're cool with, it just feels so much better than doing it by yourself. Yeah. So
we appreciate you for coming, for real. We also appreciate how you taking your time out, making it your mission to build community, because that's what we about too at the Winners Culture, trying to get like-minded people together, and that's what you're doing with STEM Social.
Thank you.
And I know for sure, as a black person who came up in science, and it was like 4 of us, 5 of us, how much I could have benefited from STEM Social when I was coming up. So stay encouraged and keep going. We really appreciate you coming tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there you have it, another episode of The Winners Culture. Make sure you check us out on wherever you get your podcast from, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We on every platform, and we now have thewinnersculture.com, so you can get all of the content at the winnersculture.com, as well as everything else we're doing. Keep up with us. And there you have another episode of The Winners Culture. We'll holler at you. Great job, yo.
Wonderful.
Thanks, y'all.
Voice of the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners culture, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners culture, yeah. We the winners culture.